So in your journey, in your travels, is there any story that you've heard that made you realize the importance of what you do that really stuck out to you? Maybe an entrepreneur or founder or someone who just was interesting to you that shared something with you like, man, this showed me why I need to do more of this.
Mm. There, I'd say everywhere I go, and I talk about entrepreneurship and its importance to
Yes.
the life and the economic health of the community. Someone invariably comes to me and says, "This is what I've always felt. Like I knew this, but I'd never heard it said before, articulated before, and I didn't know there was something I could join to be part of it."
Mm.
And so I've seen that everywhere where people felt like they realized they thought they were the crazy ones. And they realized that when we're putting right to start out there and
Yeah.
we're finding ways to join, people start to get involved. And so I've learned from so many people about the issues they face. So, like one of the new issues we're going to be talking about right to start in the coming year for America the Entrepreneurial is this issue of fairness for entrepreneurs in buying a home. Because when you buy a home right now and you apply for a mortgage, they look at your W-2 job.
That's right.
So if you're an entrepreneur
You don't have that.
and you're getting a independent contract
Yes.
work, or you have your own LLC, the banks won't even count any of that for several years until you've shown that you've been doing it for a long time.
Mm.
And even if you're making good money, and even if you have a lot of savings, they won't give you a loan. It's unfair. Buying a home for an entrepreneur is inherently unequal because of the focus on having a regular job.
Yeah.
And this is supposed to be America the Entrepreneurial. You shouldn't have to have a regular job to be able to buy a home. You should be able to be an entrepreneur and have an equul chance to be able to buy a home, just like someone who's got a job.
That's right.
Yeah.
How would you go about changing something like that? Like who would be the people in charge of like making those decisions that you have to like, so that's a case, that's a use case.
Yep.
How do you go around changing this thing that is affecting all entrepreneurs across the country?
You could work either at the state level or the national level.
Mm.
So in every state, they regulate banking and they regulate the financial sector. Any state could potentially pass a law or maybe a regulation. Some state, depends on every state, is different, that actually says you shall not discriminate in giving a mortgage for someone, whether they're an entrepreneur or they have a regular job.
Yeah, yeah.
And that could change everything. And then you could do that at the national level.
Mm.
You could say across the country, you cannot discriminate against someone just because they are starting a business and not having a regular job.
So something you said earlier was about how, right now we are living in, I would say, one of the most divisive times America has ever seen. I think the American dream is the United States because we are united. I think that's the beauty of why we are here, because it's a place where everyone connects with each other. No matter where you're from, no matter what you speak, we need to be together, right? What is something that you've seen an entrepreneur spirit just travel around the country that is giving you hope that there is more to be done, but we are in the right direction when it comes to entrepreneurship, that you've seen like we're getting somewhere?
Entrepreneurship may be the only big issue that we all agree on in America. And we did a poll around that, and we found that 94% of Americans say that entrepreneurial opportunity and people being able to have equal access to that, fair access to that, is important to the future of the country. 94%.
94%.
Almost every American agrees that entrepreneurial access is critical to the future of the health of America. And you think about that, it means that we disagree about almost everything, but this is actually core to America. In fact, it almost is like what defines America, is that we believe that this should be something that everyone should be able to do. You should be able to, it's not just a business even, it's about your ability to control your life, to be able to take an idea and make it happen, to take something that you dream about and make it manifest, to take a shot at it. And so if America can't have that, it isn't doing that, then we got a problem, because that's what Americans believe America is for. Actually, last week there was a poll in the Wall Street Journal, and it said that 65% of Americans say that it's harder to start a business today than it was in their parents' generation. Only 17% of people say it's easier. So the American public feels like the system is so hard that they can't even bring their own idea to life right now. And so that says something about the moment we're in, right? Which is people don't like the system. The system holds them back, which means we got to do something about the system. And entrepreneurship is the one thing about the system that people agree that we all should have access to.
What would be problems always coming up. What would you say that would keep your mind at rest at the end of this that you would like to accomplish with Right to Start and see entrepreneurship do or see in communities happen when you are said, I'm said and done? There'll probably never be an end, but to you, what would that look like for you? A future, if you were to envision what you're trying to build, what would that look like?
Now, the future would be a time when there's a problem in a world or there's something missing in a community. Like if you're in a small town and there's no supermarket, you shouldn't think like, I have to wait for a big grocery chain to come open a supermarket. You should be able to think, well, why don't I start a fresh produce market in town? If you have an idea and you're thinking, man, the world should really have this thing, or I wish my community had this store or this product.
Yes.
Or if you're a tech startup, like, hey, there should really be this app, that you don't feel like you can't do that, right? And right now, I think what happens is people are either afraid or they don't even know it's a possibility for them because they feel like it's too hard or the system gets in the way, or they just don't know people that can help them, or they don't even know that there's a path. And so we want to get America to a place and society to a place where they realize that anyone can do it, and to get the country to a place where they realize that entrepreneurship and the access to entrepreneurship affects everybody.
Sure.
Like the future of America depends on it. The future of every economy depends on the entrepreneurs building and growing stuff. And so that's the future dream, is where that feeling and that knowledge is widespread and people feel like this is part of who we are.